Hey guys, John V from PhoneArena here. You're watching our video comparison between the Google Nexus 6 and the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. Many people will agree that the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 is arguably the best of the best when it comes to phablets. It just has that rich set of tools that you want in between a smartphone and a tablet, and it just blends so well in this device, and as you see in the review, it excels in a lot of areas. So with that, the Google Nexus 6 is new on the scene, and it's going to take a lot for it to topple what the Note 4 has achieved. But then again, it does have the advantage of sporting Android 5.0 Lollipop. Both phones are constructed primarily out of plastic, but you get a slightly sturdier build quality out of the Nexus 6 just because its plastic casing just exhibits, a more solid feel. It is the beefier handset between the two, so it's a lot more cumbersome holding in the hand because it's wider, taller, thicker, and heavier than the Note 4. The Note 4 has a sophisticated look that we also appreciate just because of the leather-like casing of its rear back, and you also have that metal trim bezel around its sides. With the design of the Nexus 6, we really love the fact that it has those dual front-firing speakers, so they project audio towards us, so it's very ideal for things like watching videos. As for the Note 4, it's outfitted with an arsenal of features. You have things like the fingerprint sensor, you have the IR blaster, you have also the heart rate sensor in the back, micro SD card slot, removable battery, and you have all the advantages of the S Pen stylus. Well, there's no arguing that these two phones are in an elite club with their Quad HD displays. You have a larger 6-inch AMOLED display in the Nexus 6 versus a 5.7-inch Super AMOLED display in the Note 4. Details are pretty much identical despite the slight advantage on paper to the Note 4. They're both super sharp in detail. But the Note 4's AMOLED panel has more pleasing qualities with it. In particular, it's brighter and more accurate when it comes to producing colors. So those are two attributes that really make it stand out over the Nexus 6's display. Being a Nexus device and all, the Nexus 6 benefits from having the latest and greatest Android build, Lollipop to be exact, versus the TouchWiz UI of the Note 4. So with that, you're going to get the new features with Lollipop, so you get support for multiple users, the ability to pin apps, and even prioritize your notifications. In due time though, we'll probably get those features with the Note 4, but its current incarnation, you're not going to have it, of course. But where the Nexus 6 and Lollipop really stands tall for a great smartphone experience, it doesn't do well for being a phablet just because it doesn't see the same level enhancements that we see from the Note 4. In particular, you have things like the multi-window feature where you have true multitasking. It makes good use of the screen. You have also a one-handed operation mode, which makes it ideal for just one-handed operation. And several other features that really makes good use of the phablet category that the phone's in. You kind of know that these two are future-proof just because they pack the same cutting-edge hardware. They're powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon 805 chipset coupled with a beefy 3 GB of RAM, and they're both very responsive with similar tasks, though for some odd reason the Nexus 6 just has a tad bit more snappiness when it comes to navigating across the UI, whereas with the Note 4, it sometimes shows just a little bit of a delay with certain operations. Naturally, thanks to their gigantic Quad HD displays, they're fantastic for surfing the web. A lot of detail, but with the Note 4, we have a slight advantage with its S Pen just because you have that desktop-like quality in the way that we can hover over certain elements. But besides that, the two experiences are pretty much top-notch. When we look at their respective music players, they both have the Google Play Music application, but as an alternative, you have also the TouchWiz music player with the Note 4. Now, we like the dual front-firing speakers of the Nexus 6. It delivers a potent punch, but the Note 4 actually has a slightly stronger output with its audio quality. It reaches 85 decibels in comparison to 75 decibels with the Nexus 6, but the Note 4's quality is a little bit on the thin side. And they're also fantastic when it comes to watching videos thanks to their AMOLED displays. You get that vibrancy, but we do appreciate that multitasking element in play with the Note 4. So both phones are no doubt capable of taking some stunning looking photos and videos with their cameras. You have a 13 megapixel camera in the Nexus 6 and you have a larger 16 megapixel one in the Note 4. Between them, we find ourselves liking the Note 4 more just because you have more control in taking your shots. You have a larger set of shooting modes and even manual controls. Not only that, but its quality is superior. Its shots are has more detail, more natural exposure, and under lower lighting conditions, its shots are brighter, more crisp looking, and less noisy. And when it comes to shooting 1080p or even 4K videos, we again find the Note 4 producing the more favorable results. That's because the focus tends to be a little bit finicky with the Nexus 6. Whereas the Nexus 6 is an average performer when it comes to call quality, the Note 4 is just excellent. You just get more favorable results through it. Voices in general have a clear, more distinct tone on both ends along with the Note 4, while the Nexus 6 exhibits some static through the earpiece, and its speakerphone has a squeaky tone to it. And that leads us to the last part in this comparison, battery life. Now, interestingly enough, they both are stuffed with 3220 milliamp hour batteries, but between them, the Note 4's battery life is superior. It's able to achieve a mark of 8 hours and 43 minutes in our battery benchmark test, while the Nexus 6 with the same capacity battery only reaches 7 hours and 53 minutes. Now, of course, this is a big factor in your decision. You might want to go with the Google Nexus 6. It has a pretty good value to it at $650 versus the minimum cost of the Galaxy Note 4 here in the US is going to be roughly around $730, and that's through Sprint. It goes up with the other carriers. For example, AT&T has it higher than that. But either way, it just depends on what you want. Now, the Google Nexus 6, it's a fantastic device, but in terms of phablet, it's not that great in that regard. It works well with the Android 5.0 Lollipop experience, but doesn't see as many customizations that make good use of its large screen. That's where the Note 4 really excels in. Even though it's running TouchWiz, might not have the best, appealing UI, but it's still filled with a lot of features that make good use of that screen. And with that, with the multitasking aspect, combined with its stunning performance in taking photos and videos, its longer battery life, and its rich tools, for example, the IR blaster, the micro SD card slot, the removable battery, and even the fingerprint sensor, all those justify its higher cost. So if you guys want to learn more about either smartphone, you could check out our website, PhoneArena.com. John V. Thanks for watching.